Rachel, I want to talk on something very interesting here. The correlation of how these two things come together. When I think about Sarah, Abraham and Sarah, and what Sarah told Abraham when she thought she couldn't conceive and bear a child. Remember, she told Abraham to lie with the maid so that the maid could bear the child for her, because she felt at her age she could not bear children. So she gave her husband Abraham over to the maid so that the maid could bear the child for Abraham. And we have here Rachel is making the same mistake that Sarah did. All this from women. And you might say, well, listen, this is some major mistakes here, and it's going to come back to bite the children of Israel very, very harshly because of the mistake that Sarah made when she gave Abraham to the maid. The mistake Rachel was making here when she's giving Jacob over to the maid. It says here in Vayatzi, that chapter 30, verse 1, Rachel saw that she had not borne children to Jacob, so Rachel became envious of her sister. You see, this is amazing what envy will do. She's making a terrible mistake, and we're still feeling the ramifications of this today because of what Rachel did, because of what Sarah did. You see, Rachel saw that she had not borne children to Jacob, so Rachel became envious of her sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children, otherwise I am dead." Jacob's anger flared up at Rachel, and he said, "Am I God who has withheld from you fruit of the womb?" So she said, "Well, here's my maid Bella." So you see, in this intermixing and this intergiving beneath people to the husband. Now, Jacob is blessed. Remember, Jacob is blessed. Israel is blessed. So she's giving this blessed man to this unblessed woman to bear her children. Now, what do you think is going to happen? She gave him Bella, her maidservant, as a wife. So this is Rachel giving Jacob Bella, her maidservant, as a wife. And Jacob consorted with her. Bella conceived and bore Jacob a son. Then Rachel said, "God has judged me. He has also heard my voice and has given me a son." She therefore called his name Dan. Bella, Rachel's maidservant, conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. All because why? Jacob wasn't even thinking about the maid. Jacob was not even thinking, once again, the men were not even thinking about these different women. It's the wives, it's Sarah, it's Rachel who has given the husband to these maids, these unworthy women. So they're bearing this holy man a child, this blessed man a child, the maid. Once again, making these horrible mistakes, and we feel the ramifications of them even today, of these mistakes that these women, please let's not go all the way back to Eve. Who gave Adam the apple to bite. Women, again, messing the whole thing up, again. So Bella, Rachel's maidservant, conceived again and bore Jacob a son, a second son. And Rachel said, "Sacred schemes have I maneuvered to equal my sister." But Rachel, your scheme's going to come undone even in 2009. and I've also prevailed. She called his name Nephtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped giving birth, she took Zephyr, her maidservant. Now there's another one it's unreal. When Leah saw that she had stopped giving birth, she took Zephyr, her maidservant. You see, it's catchy. It's catching. It's contagious. When Leah saw that she had stopped giving birth, then she took Zephyr, her maidservant, and gave it to Jacob as a wife. Zephyr, Leah's maidservant, bore Jacob a son, and Leah declared, good luck has come, and she called his name Gad. All this mixing up. It wasn't intended to be that way, but because of man's faulty mistakes, frailty, man's not waiting on God, and this mostly women's fault, because just like Sarah giving over Abraham to the maid, and just like Rachel giving Jacob over to the maid, just like Leah giving Jacob over to the maid, Zephyr, Leah's maidservant, bore a second son to Jacob. Leah declared, he is my good fortune. Leah declared, in my good fortune, for women have deemed me fortunate. So she called his name Asher. Reuben went out in the days of wheat harvest. He found the duodyne in the field and brought them to Leah, his mother. Rachel said to Leah, please give me some of your son's duodyne. But she said to her, was your taking my husband insignificant? And now, to take even my son's duodyne? So Rachel said, therefore, he shall lie with you tonight in return for your son's duodyne. The God hearkened to Leah. So when Jacob came from the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, it is to me that you must come, for I have clearly hired you with my son's duodyne. So he lay with her that night. It seems the women seem to be running the show here. I thought the man was the head, but the women seem to be running the show, because it's the women who giving the husband over to the maid. And who could blame a man for complaining if your wife said go ahead and lie down with the maid? And what man's going to complain against that? It's unreal. Therefore, he shall lie with you tonight in return for your son's duodyne. So when Jacob came from the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, it is to me that you must come, for I have clearly hired you with my son's duodyne. So he lay with her that night. God hearkened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah declared, God has granted me my reward, because I gave my maidservant to my husband. So she called his name Issachar. Then Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Leah said, God has endowed me with a good endowment. Now my husband will make his permanent home with me, for I bore him 6 sons. So she called his name Zebulun, after which she bore a daughter, and she called her name Dana. God remembered Rachel. God hearkened to her, and he opened her womb. She conceived and bore a son, and said, God has taken away my disgrace. She called his name Joseph, saying, may Hashem add on for me another son. And it was when Rachel had given birth to Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, grant me leave that I may go to my place and to my land. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and I will go, for you are aware of my service that I labored for you. And I'm going to leave it right there. But it's amazing to me, the women are always making mistakes. The women giving the husbands to the maid. Who ever heard